So there are investors who invest in passive funds or active funds or pick stocks. Most of them would be happy by looking at the absolute returns and probably if you look at the annualized returns. The issue here is most of the people don't compare their returns with the available indices or across the time horizons. So what I have done is I have just picked four stocks from four different sectors, and four of them are from Nifty 50. And at the same time, I have tried comparing them with the thematic indices and Nifty 50 as well. And the assumption I made is like in each of these stocks, the investor has made 1 lakh of investment. And at the same time, what if we have done the similar investment in the indices, right? So, say for example, the banking stock which I have picked, what if I have put in the Nifty Bank, the same 1 lakh, right? Instead of four different indices, what if I have put in the Nifty 50, the entire 4 lakhs? So, when we go to G6, right? We have the required formula actually. So if you look at the first half of the formula, it indicates the units of the Nifty Bank the investor would have got, right? Say for example, for 1 lakh. And at the same time, the second half indicates the closing price as on the end date, right? Which is there in the cell C3. So these are the ticker symbols for the stock for the indices, and the ticker symbols for these specific stocks are there in the column D, which I have deliberately hit because this video is more for a educational purpose, not for any stock recommendation, right? So the intention here is to demonstrate how returns vary with the time horizons and with the turn in the business cycles as well, right? So if you look at it from 2015 to 2016, the portfolio of these four stocks have done better than their respective indices, except for the one which is in FMCG, and even better than the Nifty 50 as well. So what happens if we are doing it for the year 2017? So that's a 2-year horizon. So even in this case, the outcome is same. So on a 3-year basis at 2018, so what is the outcome there? Again, it's one and the same. Like the four stocks have done really well for the investor. So of course, there are few like FMCG stocks and technology where thematic funds have done better. But again, the outperformance is not like very drastic when compared to the bank and the oil, right? So what happens in the year 2020? So this is just before the COVID, 3 months before the COVID. The investor has done exceptionally good job, right? So his almost, if you look at it, he has a 2 lakh better performance when compared to the thematic funds. And the Nifty 50 has not done so good compared to the thematics as well here. So what I try to do here is like I was checking for what if, we are looking from 2020, January 1st to April 2020, where it was a COVID low actually, right? So how much has the decline been? So that if you look at it, instead of the stocks and the thematics, the Nifty 50 was more resilient. One reason for the resilience of the Nifty 50 compared to this stocks is it has not done much. If you look at the performance wise, these things have done really well. And most of it, like if you look at it, the energy crisis has been like really very high. And even the banks got really affected to the large tune during the COVID. So what if we have invested from April 20 to December 24, right? So that would be like a solid 4 years actually, solid 5 years to be frank, because 2020 is also included. So again, the outperformance is like really very visible. The stocks which have done really well in the first half, that is like later half of the decade from 2015 to 2020, have not done so well, in the last 5 years. So this is the turn of the cycle actually. This is from the COVID lows. So if you look at it, the same stocks were at 8 lakhs 36,000, which was the case like pretty much something similar number before the COVID. right? And the thematics have done a lot better. When you look at it, it was something like 6.7 or 6.8. Right now, it would have been like around 12 lakhs. 20, this is, let's look at 31st of December, so that the entire calendar year will be there. So, and Nifty 50 has done really well, right? What it proves is that the valuations matter and that there is always a need to balance the portfolio basis the asset allocation and the goals, right? And if you're not respecting the valuations, what happens is the ones which have done well in the past need not do well in the future. So most of the time you hear a lot saying that these are the top stocks in the, you know, top stocks which are there and they would be doing well for a very long time. But you lose out a lot on the returns, right? And again, if you're looking at it, the first 45 days has been like really very painful for all the investors in the market right now in this calendar year. So, what are the returns if we are looking at the first 45 days? So, for the sake of it, if we are looking at it first 25, so here the decline has been more in the index, right? If somebody has just invested in the same stocks, the thematics have declined. Again, these stocks are probably coming back, the same stocks, right? So it is always beneficial for a client to check his or her performance. You have to check basis the different time horizons. And there is a high possibility that if it is not done in a timely manner, the investor may end up compromising on the goals. Thank you.